Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pracharane. Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadharane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Pramukyananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Gaur Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna. You know, hope everyone is doing well. And we had a wonderful, hope everyone had a wonderful Janmashtami and Radhashtami. And human life is meant for self-realization. Self-realization is a, what is that? More than that, human life is meant for Krishna Prema. Human life is meant for aspiring and attaining for Krishna Prema. It's very important actually. Time is running out for everyone. Can you hear me? Is my voice audible?
Hare
Yes,
Krishna, yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So, you know, I don't know whether we spoke about Radhashtami or not, but we can continue with Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know, so last time we discussed actually, that's why. So honestly speaking, we just just by coming to know about Radharani, she's the zenith of perfection in Krishna Prema. You know, zenith of perfection in Krishna Prema. And कृष्णवांच पूर्ति रूपे कौरे आराधनी अतएव राधिका नाम पुराणे वकने देवी कृष्णमयी प्रोक्त राधिका पर देवता सर्वलक्ष्मीमयी सर्वकांति सुमोहिनी परा गोविंदानंदिनी राधा गोविंद मोहिनी गोविंद सर्वस्व सर्वकांत शिरोमणि अनयाराधितो नुनु भगवान हरीश्वर एनो विहाय गोविंद प्रीतो यने अनयद्रह. So these are all the verses that glorify, you know, Radharani's Radharani. Honestly speaking, India, not many people knew Radharani. It's because, you know, they know Lakshmi ji, they know Rukmini ji. It's all because they want some Lakshmi, some stability in their life. But for us to know, we'll come to know Radharani only when we have a genuine desire to practice bhakti. Bhakti ki Bhakti Devi, Radharani. You know? So, Bhakti Devi is Radharani. And what is that? She performs, you know, Hladini Shakti, pleasure potency. Hladini Karaya Krishna Ananda Swadana, Hladini Dwara Kara Bhakti Raposhana. She satisfies Krishna perfectly. And she nourishes the Jiva. So she is the pleasure potency. The Chitta Shakti is also called Swarupa Shakti. You know, the way mother tells the child, this is your father. The way mother tells the child, this is the father. Likewise, Hladini Shakti, pleasure potency, Antaranga Shakti, takes us to Krishna. You know, she's called Devi Prakriti, Mahatma Nastuma Bharata, Devi Prakriti Masrita, Vachinti Manya Manso Jnata Bhutatim Avyayam. So those devotees, you know, who are sadhakas and who pleased, you know, her, they come under her potency, internal potency, Devi Prakriti. Yoga Maya. That way, you know, they don't feel any So they're protected from all the miseries. Bhaktera Poshana, she does that. And what is that? So the way Krishna is the source of all the incarnations, Radharani is the source of all the Shakti Tattva. You know, um, practically everyone, you know, Lord Shiva wants to follow her footsteps. Brahma wants to, um, you know, wants her grace. Everyone. Uddhava wants her grace. And Uddhava wants her grace. Shrutis, the scripture Shastras want her grace. So everyone wants her grace. So this is the verse is there, Darsane pi Sailajadi Yoshitali Durlabam. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is a pure devotee. He says, even Sailaja means Parvati Devi. She cannot even take darshan of Radharani without her sanction. Kumkumakta Kanchanabja Garvahari Gauraba Pitananchitabja Gandha Kirtinindi Saurabha. So her beauty is Radharani's beauty is unrivaled beauty. Like molten gold color. So what is that? Nectar of instruction, Rupa Goswami glorifies her. Nectar of devotion, she is glorified. Devi means, she's a Devi, resplendent with the beauty, and Krishnamai means she can see Krishna everywhere. Radhika Paradevata is the feminine counterpart. Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva, all the Lakshmis come from her. The Lakshmis and Vrajagopis and the queens of Dwarka, they're all Vaibhav Prakash, Vaibhav Vilas, and the Gopis are mirror expansions of Radharani. Sarva Jagatera Mata, as a feminine counterpart, she is the mother of the universe. And what is that, so she exhibits this Madanakya Mahabhava. What she exhibits? That quality, Mahabhava. Mahabhava means the highest state of ecstasy. It is exhibited by Radharani actually. Radha Radheti Kuryart, Radha Radheti Pujiyet, Radha Radheti Anishta, Radha Radheti Jalpati Vrindaranya Mahabhaga, Radha Sahachari Bhavet. Shiva is telling Parvati, anybody who says Radha Radha, who performs bhakti saying Radha Radha, who has faith in Radha Radha, who chants Radha Radha, they become female attendants, Sahachari of Radharani. Actually, His Holiness Radhana Swami was going, he tells this. If you want, I can add, otherwise we'll go forward. Uh, what do you think? Should I tell this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Maharaj was actually traveling in Himalayas. He ended up meeting Nagababas, They are like powerful. They worship Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is a masculine, the male. You know, so become Naga because our worshipable deity is Shiva. Shiva means the masculine Purusha. So then he ended up and he wanted to see when he went with them. He went with them and they don't wear clothes, even living in Himalayas, but they create fires and they stay close to the fire. But suddenly everyone started levitating, they were floating in the air. Wow. They were all staying above the ground. So then they said, we have our guru, we should come and meet. So he went. He went with them. Guru said, where do you stay? Vrindavan. Vrindavan. He started mocking. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna. No Radhe Krishna. Become Naga. Shiva is the male. And Maharaj says, I was literally shivering, they all had tridents, But so they are telling become Naga, but the Shiva wants, this verse is told by Lord Shiva. Radha Radhe Kuriyartha Radha Radhe Jalpati. So if you chant Radharani, say Shiva wants to, wants to become a gopi and serve Radharani. Hare Krishna. Uddhava was the dearmost, devotee of Krishna as known to others in Dwarka. So the Uddhava wants to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan so that the gopis would step on his head. So what is Ashamaho Charanarena Jusham Hamsyam Vrindavane Kimapi Gulmalataushadinam. I have only one desire. What is that one desire? I want to become a blade of grass. Usually when somebody is better than us, we become envious. But Uddhav understood, they are very exalted. They're super exalted. So, he's telling, my Lord, I want to become a blade of. He prayed to Krishna in Uddhav Kund, and Uddhav Krishna appeared and said, what do you want? I want to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. That's in Kusum Sarovar, in forest adjoining, adjoining Kusum Sarovar. There is a Kusum one. There, Uddhav is present as a Gulmalata. Every day gopis come and they step on this Gulmalata. And Uddhava considers his life is successful. If Shiva wants to enter the rasa dance, and everyone wants Sutichari gopis, all the Vedas personified wanted to take part, but Lakshmiji was not given entrance. Why? What is rasa dance? The Jiva Brahma union. The union between the topmost state of Jiva. What is the topmost event for Jiva? Union with the Supreme Brahman, Krishna. So everyone was allowed, but why Lakshmiji was not allowed? Narada Muni was allowed, Arjun was allowed, Srutichari, the Srutis, Vedas personified were allowed. Even Lord Shiva has become a guard, security guard for this. Then why Lakshmiji was not allowed? Because she did not want to change her position. She didn't want to change her position. For you to take part in Rasa dance, Vrindavan, Raja Bhakti means what? Raga Bhakti, Ragatmika Bhakti. To attain Ragatmika Bhakti, you need to follow, to Raganuga Sadhana. Anuga means followers. You need to choose one personality in Raj and follow them. Lord Chaitanya came to do that actually, Raga Bhakti. अनार्पित चरम चिरात करने अवतीर्णा कलो समर्पित मुनतो जुल रसम स्वभक्ति श्रियम हरिपुरत सुंदर दिति कदम्ब संदीपद सदा हृदय कंदरे स्मरतव्वा सचिनंदना. Anarpita, it was never offered by any incarnation before. Karnaya avatirna kala, for this reason Krishna appeared. Why? Samarpayatam unnatojjval rasam. What is that unnatojjval rasam? Santadashi Sakya Vatsalya Mathurya. First of all, no, most of the people in India, those are so pious people. They don't even know these five mellows. If you impartially deal with that, you'll understand. Madhurya Rasa is the topmost. That Madhurya Rasa, Unnatojjvala Rasam, that Lord Chaitanya came to bestow that Madhurya Rasa. Prema Rasa Niryasa Korite Aswadan Ragamarga Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. He came to experience Radha Bhav. Krishna could understand everything. Krishna knew everything, but one thing Krishna could not understand is the depth of love of Radharani. Radharani is for him. So as a devotee came to experience Radha Bhav, that's why Krishna appeared on Ashtami, right? When did Krishna appear? Ashtami. When did Radharani appear? Huh?
Ashtami.
Ashtami. When did Lord Chaitanya appear?
Purnima.
What he did, when did Gadadhar Pandit appear? Anyone knows? Gadadhar Pandit appeared on Amavasya because Krishna took the Radha Bhav from Gadadhar Pandit. Full. So Krishna Ashtami, Radharani Ashtami. Then what is this? Ashtami. Full moon. That is Lord Chaitanya. Combination of Radharani. So Krishna to experience Radha Bhav, what Krishna did? He took the Bhava of Radharani. From Gadadhar Pandit's expansion Radharani. He took it from him. And if we become full moon, he appeared on Gaur Purnima. But because he took everything from him, Gadadhar appeared on Amavasya. That Mahabhava was not there with Gadadhar. You're all listening?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So, that's why Samarpitam Unnatajjval Rasam. He took it, he came with that. Sabhakti Sriyam. Haripur Sundara Diti Kadamba Sandipita. So he's not just Krishna, but Sri Krishna. Full. He's Radha Krishna. He's full. Lord Chaitanya. That's why he's able to give. So Radharani is, what is that? One lecture he said, one devotee, one brahmachari in India, he made a nice statement. What is that? Jandu bomb, Barnal. What is Jandu bomb and Barnal? Barnal means one day this what is that? This is Gaur Gopal Prabhu, so 20 years ago. He said this, what is that? What is Radharani's compassion? Pox also she can deliver. Krishna Saradharman Pamiritya Mamekam Saranam Raja Hantam Sarapapabhyam Mokshisam. Krishna says, I'll take all your sins and I'll give you liberation. Anywhere in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, I'll give you love of God. Huh? So
Oh, Prabhuji.
1860, no, Krishna, But of course, in Bhagavatam, you can see, he gave the position to Putana, position equal to Yashoda. But Krishna says, I'll remove the sins and I'll not, Hantam Sarvapapabhyo, I'll say, remove all the sins. And moksha, I'll give you liberation, free from suffering. But nowhere Krishna said, I'll give Krishna Prema. Krishna Prema is given by his devotees. So, when Radharani, what is that? Radharani, when she heard this howling, this fox entered into the fox hole, that crocodile hole, and the locals, the locals of Raj, the boys, what they did, they put it on fire, knowing very well this fox cannot escape because fox can kill the children and kill all the animals, tiny animals, chickens and all. But then fox is howling. Radharani said, "Who is that?" Radharani immediately, she understood. Lalita sent Lalita Saki, bring her. So Lalita Saki brought fox. Fox is considered very cunning. Already the body of the skin of the fox was burnt, suffering. Radharani applied Varnal. Means what? Immediately Radharani delivered her from cycle of birth and death. Radharani not did Radharani give liberation? No, she gave Krishna Prema. She made her Antaranga Sakhi. Wow. Did the fox chant even one time? No. Take shelter? No. But Radharani got enough. The only thing is she was in the fox was in that vicinity and Radharani heard the cries. And what is Jandubam? You all know the Krishna story. Who is Krishna's topmost devotee? Radharani is willing to give any bomb to relieve Krishna's headache. Even that bomb puts Radharani in hell eternally. Wow. You know, the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Radharani, Radharani says, actually, honestly speaking, I can show you, you will be, there is nothing higher than that, uh, if, you know, if Krishna, if my distress give Krishna pleasure, that distress is my happiness. Wow. You know? Did you hear this, what I said? I want to show you also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
There is nothing higher than this. This is 18th verse, like Asli Shiva Padaratam Pinashtama Madarsanan Manohatam Karoto Ithatada Vidatalam Puto Mat Pranal Sevanapara. That is a verse Radharani spoke. So now he's telling, Radharani is telling, see this. Let Krishna tightly embrace his maid servant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. Is a debauchee after all, can do whatever he likes, but still he alone, no one else, is my worshipful Lord of my heart. I am a maid servant at his lotus feet of Krishna, his embodiment of transcendental happiness and mellows. Happiness and mellows. If he likes, he can tightly embrace me and makes me feel oneness with him. By not giving me his audience, he may corrode my mind and body. Nevertheless, it is he who is my Lord of my life. See, just hear the decision of my mind. Krishna is the Lord of my life in all conditions. Whether he shows me affection or kills me by giving unhappiness. Wow. Sometimes Krishna gives up the company of other gopis and becomes controlled, mind and body, by me. Thus he manifests my good fortune and gives others distress by performing his loving affairs with me. Or, since he is very cunning, obstinate, he takes the company of other women. He then indulges in loving affairs with them in front of me to give distress to my mind. Nevertheless, he is still the Lord of my life. Wow. I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna. For his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness, and can somebody, can you read this? If he feels great happiness in giving me distress, the distress is best of my happiness. Wow, Govinda Govinda, Gopal Girivartari. Is there anything higher than this statement in Tattva, in spirituality? If Krishna gives you distress, people will stop worshipping him actually. But what is she telling? His, he feels great happiness and giving me distress. The distress is best of my happiness. Can somebody read this, please?
If Krishna, attracted by the beauty of some other woman, wants to enjoy with her but is unhappy because he cannot get her, I fall down at her feet, catch her hand, and bring her to Krishna to engage her for his happiness.
Wow. So what is he telling? There is a story actually, I mean, of course, Krishna is, what is that? All living beings are, his part and parcels. So based on the rasa, Krishna is fully sense control, of course. So if actually one time one lecture is Illness Radhana Swami mentioned this. How many of you want to hear what that one line is enough? But if Radharani is showing this extreme, we can see other extreme of Krishna also. Otherwise, if you are not advanced, you may judge Krishna. You want to hear that one line?
Very well, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna will not enjoy anything other than Radharani. That's it. As simple as that. Krishna. So, for example, when you practice pure bhakti and you attain prema, means what? When Swarup Shakti enters in your heart, Radharani enters in your heart, and you practice Madhurya, then only Krishna will look at you. Otherwise, Krishna will not look at you. Haribol. How many have understood? Nobody understood.
Can you repeat, Prabhuji?
I'll repeat again. So, okay, there is a very beautiful woman on somewhere in the 14 planetary systems. She is a great devotee of, so she is a worshipper of somebody else. Do you think Krishna will look at her? When she is worshipping somebody else, she doesn't get the grace of Radharani because she is not practicing pure bhakti. When she practices pure bhakti, then only first she should get the mercy of the Swarup Shakti has to enter. Daivi Prakriti, Mahatmanastvam Bharata Daivi Prakriti. Daivi Prakriti means Radharani grace should be there. She should receive Radharani's grace. When Radharani's grace is not filled in her heart, will Krishna look at her? Yes or no?
No, Prabhuji.
No.
Definitely Krishna will not look at her. Why? Krishna looks at only Radharani, nothing else. So Krishna will look at when the Radharani element is there, then only Krishna will look at that person. And that person also long for Krishna the way Radharani does, then only Krishna will look at her. So, but Radharani is telling, you know, so for some, for some reason that Gopi, she became a great devotee. She had developed Krishna prema, but she is rejecting Krishna. So Radharani is telling, I will fall at her feet and bring her to Krishna to engage her for his happiness. Hare Krishna. Why does a woman continue to live who knows that Krishna's heart is unhappy, but who still shows her deep anger towards him? She is interested in her own happiness. I condemn such woman to be struck on head with a thunderbolt, for we simply want happiness of Krishna. Hare Krishna. If a gopi envious of me satisfies Krishna and Krishna desires her, I shall not hesitate to go to her home and become her maid servant, for then my happiness will be awakened. So that then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tells that story of a wife of a Brahmana. you know, anyway, my point is, first of all, these are not material things, and we should not, if we try to impose our, impure heart on this type of dealings, we will judge Krishna. That is not good, and judge Radharani also. But of course, Radharani is. So, in other words, when devotee is serving Prabhupada very nicely, what is the moral? If the devotee is serving Prabhupada nicely, Guru and Krishna nicely, we should fall at their lotus feet. Because they are giving pleasure to Guru and Krishna. That is the application. You are listening or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
One devotee, he is my competitor, or he is serving Prabhupada nicely, Guru Maharaj nicely, your whatever, or spiritual master says serving Prabhupada nicely, and Prabhupada is pleased, then Krishna is pleased, then what you will do? Even if that person doesn't like you, you'll go and fall at their feet and cooperate. Then Radharan is pleased. How many of you agree?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
That is the application of Radharani's statement here. But of course, we can understand the depth of Radharani's love. Krishna is my life and soul. Krishna is the treasure of my life. Indeed, Krishna is very life of my life. I therefore keep him always in my heart and try to please him by rendering service. That is my constant meditation. My happiness is in the service of Krishna. Krishna's happiness is in union with me. For this reason, I give my body in charity to the Lord of Krishna, who accepts me as his loved one and calls me his most beloved. It is then I consider that I consider myself his maid servant. So Radharani practices absolute surrender. What is that? Radharani practices absolute surrender.
Absolute surrender.
Aslishyava Madaratam Pinashtama means she has no expectation from Krishna. She has no expectation from Krishna. And she wants to fully surrender to Krishna. Whether he embrace me or push me away, making me broken hearted. You are my Lord, birth after birth. How do we apply that in our life? Not that when Krishna gives us happiness, we will worship Krishna. Green card is Krishna's mercy, COVID is also Krishna's mercy. One day, Krishna Chandra Prabhu, wanted to talk to Maharaj, but Maharaj closed his doors. Maharaj closed his doors. He is knocking the door, but he is not opening the doors. What happened? So he saw through the keyhole. As well as, Radhana Swami Maharaj was holding his head. What is he doing? he was holding his head in pain. So he was actually literally, he was holding his hand in so much pain. His body was being, he was curving his body, shaking. The headache was that much intolerable. Then Krishna Prabhu could not tolerate that. He went and knocked the door. He went and knocked the door louder. Finally, when he knocked the door, few minutes later, Maharaj opened it. No sign, anything of pain on his face. Maharaj said, yes. Krishna Prabhu said, Maharaj, I'm sorry, you're going through a lot of pain. So I don't know what I can do for you. Can I do something for you? Maharaj said, I am, I am meditating on my pain as Krishna's mercy, and you have spoiled my meditation. Everyone listen this?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
I am meditating, I am going through a lot of pain, but that pain is given to me by Krishna only. So I'm meditating, it's an deep absorption I had in this meditation of pain. And you really spoiled my meditation, Manas. Wow. Amazing, right? So the day we see our distress is also Krishna, then we don't experience distress anymore. But when Krishna comes into our picture, yeah, Krishna comes into our life, especially during distress, and when we understand it's given by Krishna, you know, then what happens? Uh, yeah, you'll be liberated. So you'll be on a transcendental platform. I'm sorry, not liberated. You'll be on a spiritual platform. What do you think? So, Radharani means zenith of perfection. She wants only one thing. What is that? Pleasure of Krishna. Nothing else. She can do anything for the pleasure of Krishna. If for the pleasure of Krishna she is going through distress, that distress is her happiness. How many of you agree there is nothing higher than this? I mean, we are reading all this like ladies and it will give an impression, something is not right, not like that. This is on the spiritual realm, not Santaras, not Dasyaras, not Vatsalya, but it is a Mathurya. So they appear like mundane things, but they're the topmost mellows of of spiritual world. This is Golok Vrindavan. Into the Golok Vrindavan, Mathurya Ras. Last actually, this devotee Rasika Prabhu made a nice point actually, she's feeling separation. Actually, for Gaudiya Vaishnavism after liberation, there are 16, 16 stages. Wow, there are 16 stages after after returning love of, not liberation, sorry, love of God. 16 stages. One is what is that? Madana ke Mahabhava. What is that? Madana kya? Mahabhava. So that no one can exhibit that type of consciousness Only Radharani can exhibit that. Hare Krishna. Hladira Sara Prema Prema Sara Bhava Bhavera Paramakashta Nama Mahabhava. Ultimate development of emotion. Mahabhava Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani Sarvaguna Khani Krishna Kanta Siromani. She is a repository of all the good qualities and crust jewel among the lovely consorts of Krishna. So that Hladini Shakti, it is there in our heart. But when we want to enjoy independent of Krishna, then it becomes contaminated. When it becomes contaminated, then we become attracted to our senses and sense enjoyment. When that Krishna prema is contaminated, that prema will become kama, lust. We try to satisfy our senses. Then there is no bhava. That bhava is not there. As long as we enjoy senses, we will increase our births. But the moment we purify ourselves, then Hladini Sara, what is the essence of Hladini Shakti? Prema. What is the essence of prema? Bhava, emotion. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Atharanala to Jagannath temple, it takes probably half an hour, 1 hour. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took 9 hours. He would get up, where is Krishna? He would see, wow, that he would see chakra. And there in the chakra, Krishna is very sheepishly, he's waiting for Lord Chaitanya and said, wow. Then he would when he would see that, when he would have that vision, Lord Chaitanya would faint. And he would get up. And again, my Lord, again he would faint. Get up, fall down, get up, fall down. Likewise, it took 9 hours. So, you're all here is a standing testimony that you have experienced some spiritual bliss. And imagine you are in that state for the rest of the eternity. That's why even one drop of prema is 1,000,000,000 times. Actually, you cannot even compare impersonal liberation with this. But that is given by whom? Srimati Radharani. That's why यदि गौर नहीं तो ताबे की हुई तो ये मोन धरितम दे राधार महिमा सर्वरस सीमा जगति जानते के. If Lord Chaitanya had not come, the world would not have known the glory of Radharani. Krishna came for so many purposes. But Lord Chaitanya, Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya for only one purpose, to glorify the unparalleled affection of love of Srimati Radharani. Unparalleled love of Srimati Radharani. That's why in last 12 years, he spent time in Gambhira discussing these esoteric inner topics with Ramanandra and Sarvadhana Goswami. Cry. So when Uddhav came to Vrindavan, so the Brahmar Gita, Radharani's mood, that is the mood Lord Chaitanya exhibited. A mad Divyonmadam. But as a Yuga avatar, he gave Krishna prema to everyone by spreading Harinam Sankirtan, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So daytime he cried for us, conditions was. Night time he cried for, as a Krishna he cried for Radharani. So what is that? Uh, uh, I was telling all the what is that? Entire Shakti Tattva is actually coming from Radharani. Tvam Amsa Lakshmi Durgadikacha. Lakshmi and Durga both are from Radharani only. Ananda Chinmay Rasa Pratibhavitabi Tabir Yeva Nijarupataya Kalabi Golok Yeva Nivasati Akilatma Bhuta Govindamadi Purusham Taham Bhajami. You know, in the Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is performing unlimited leelas with the Radharani, Ananda Chinmay Rasa. Excuse me. So, Lakshmi Sahasra Satsambhrama Sevimanam Govindamadi Purusham Taham Bhajami. All the gopis are her mirror images. How many? Satasambrama. Sahasra Sata. 100,000. Wow. They're all Radharani's expansions. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Radharani's love is for Krishna is very deep. And it's a fathomless ocean. So Krishna assumed the position of Lord Chaitanya, want to reach the position of Srimati Radharani. Radharani is a devotee. Krishna is enjoyer, Radharani is enjoyed. Like Radhashtami, we all offered Chappan Bhog. Janmashtami offered Chappan Bhog, we are fasting. Our happiness is fasting. And feeding Krishna. What is Krishna's happiness? Eating. And our happiness is service. Krishna's happiness is enjoyment of our service. But Krishna wants to understand what is that happiness of service. He has to come and become a devotee like us. Then he'll understand. Excuse me. So he wants to release the position of Srimati Radharani, devotee. But also Krishna is sweet, but his sweetness keeps on expanding. But Krishna wants to know the sweetness of himself. Who knows Krishna's sweetness? Radharani. That's why he assumed the devotee position. Especially which devotee? Radharani's position. And as a devotee, Radharani experienced more pleasure than Krishna. Krishna wanted to experience that happiness, bliss tasted by Radharani. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vaneva Swadyo Yenatpata Madrima Kidrisho Madiya Saukyam Chashya Madhanvata Kidrisham Veti Lobad Tadbhavadya Samajani Sachigarbha Sindhu Harindu. You know? So this is a verse actually. He wants to realize the position of Radharani, understands the sweetness of his own self, and the bliss tasted by Radharani. Lord Chaitanya, he assumed is Krishna, but in the mood of Radharani. Radha Krishna is sada ekai swarupa leela rasa swadite dhare dui rupa. Actually, they are only one in Radha and Krishna, they are one soul. But for the pleasure of Leela, they became two. Now they again become one, that is Lord Chaitanya. Mahavadanya Avatar, most magnanimous incarnation. Excuse me. So, Saraswati Thakur actually says Radharani's position is very high, to be fully liberated and purified. Sanak Sanandan, Sanat Kumar, they are like, by birth, they are their Brahma, what is that? Brahma told them to get married. They said, no, we'll not get married because our consciousness is steeped in love towards Krishna, Vasudeva. We don't want to get married. They remain brahmacharis. But they think they don't have qualification to see the lotus feet of Radharani. Excuse me. So, what is the qualification to understand Radharani? Minimum connection with the material world for the barest needs. What is that? We should have a minimum connection with the material world. What do you mean by minimum connection? Your body is there. We need to go and bring groceries, offer food to Krishna and eat that prasad. That's it. Then we should not be so, because when you want to get out of this world and go back to Godhead, the highest position, Golok Vrindavan, the highest mellow, become a follower of Radharani, then we should be, nothing should tempt us in this world. How many of you agree? You agree? Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So then, our, when our trivial opinions, concoct austerities, pious works, so-called knowledge, mystic power, if we consider them like worthless straw, and if we consider like a worthless straw, then what happiness? No happiness, nothing. Concocted austerities, knowledge, it's all used. No, we don't need it. Because anything makes you proud, anything makes you happy, means you're on the mental platform. You're on the sensual platform. Then you're on the soul platform. Even if only pure bhakti, the only person who has attained love of God, Krishna Prema, that person can understand Radharani. Don't worship any devatas, including Narayan, in a majestic form. Wow. If you worship Narayan, Lakshmi chahiye, I want some money, so let me worship Narayan, then you will not get Krishna. You will not get Radharani shelter. Amazing, right? Huh? Even Krishna, Narayan is expansion of Krishna only. But still, gopis, what is that? Krishna tested them by assuming a forerunner Narayana form. But gopis were not tempted by that. Wow. What is the last one? Not looking for cheap adoration, profit, distinction. Kanaka, Kamini, Pratishtha, Puja, Pratishtha, I don't need. That's why when person went to Rupa Goswami, this Digvijay Pandit, I have defeated everyone on the planet. Only you. So I heard you and your brother Rupen Sanatan, you're the scholars. If I defeat, I have defeated everyone on the planet. I challenge you, come. What did Rupa Goswami say? No, we're not scholars. Really? Yeah. Who's told you? We are scholars. So you don't want to you don't want to accept my challenge? No, we are not scholars, sir. I know who told you wrong. Then sign here. Give me your pen. Immediately signed. Take it. We are defeated. And that Digvijay was so happy. Somebody told him, his uncle, his nephew is there. Jiva Goswami. He met Jiva Goswami. I defeated your uncles. Jiva Goswami said, impossible. No, see this paper. And what did he say? Their humility, this person is exploiting. Jiva Goswami said, I accept your challenge. And Jiva Goswami defeated him. This Digvijay Pandit fell at his feet. Accept his defeat. Then what did Rupa Goswami say? You are so proud. You cannot stay here. Jiva Goswami didn't say, I did this to defend our sampradaya. He didn't do that. He left. 2 times it happened. So then Rupa Goswami asked him to leave, but he didn't even tell, I did this to defend you and sampradaya. He left. Oh, that is humility. That is Rupa Goswami's humility, and by not defending and leaving the place is Jiva Goswami's humility. Rupa Goswami wanted the whole world to know the Jiva Goswami humility also. He also wanted the whole world to know the Braj mood also. Amazing, right? That type of people, they become the recipient of the mercy of Radharani. We'll continue next week. Vanchakartara Shukra Sindhu Peach Patana Bhavana Joishne. Anantagata Vaishnava Shila Prabhupada.